Okay. I was wondering if those people were here for yoga, but she's wearing jeans, so I think probably not. We're good? Okay. All right. So let's get settled in. And let's start in a child's pose. So just shifting forward, knees wide apart, toes together. You can either have your hands forward and your forehead resting, or you can take your hands back alongside your heels. If you take your hands back, you probably want your knees just a little bit closer together, a little bit more support. Take a deep breath in, feeling your ribs expand, lungs expand. Exhale it out, softening. Keep feeling your breath deepen. You settle into the pose. Relaxed spine, softening your hips. Tuning into your body, taking your focus out of the mind and into your breath, into your muscles. A few more deep, slow breaths. And as you begin to set an intention for your practice today, so on this Memorial Day, letting that inspire your practice in any way that you might choose, however, whatever you'd like to memorialize today. Take 3 more of your longest, slowest, deepest breaths. And on that last exhale, just start to roll up one vertebrae at a time. And take your hands back behind you. You're going to move all the way onto your back. So you can take your hips to one side and then just roll onto your back. Hug your knees into your chest. And rock a little side to side. Nice slow movements. And then straighten your legs. So lift the soles of your feet up towards the sky. You can just take your arms wide apart. And flex your feet. Lift your heels, toes coming back towards you. Soften your tailbone down onto the ground. Good. And then point your toes up towards the sky. And then drawing some circles with the toes. And taking circles in the other direction. Keep your left leg long, bend your right knee so that your right ankle crosses just above your left knee. And then thread your hands behind your left thigh, bend your left knee, open your right knee out. Tailbone softens down towards the ground. So getting a little opening stretch in your right hip. You can flex your right foot. If it felt good to draw circles with your toes, you can keep that motion going, maybe using both feet. A little warm up for your ankles. Keep opening your right knee out and up. And then release the hands from the left leg, arms open wide, and then reach both feet up towards the sky. Let your feet drift apart so you're coming into a nice open leg position. You can support your legs with your hands if you need to. Maybe here, flexing and pointing your feet, just getting a little inner hip opening. And lift your feet back up to center, strong core. Bend your left knee, right leg stays long, left ankle just above the right knee. Thread your hands behind the right thigh. And drawing your right thigh in towards your chest as you open your left knee up. Maybe flexing and pointing the feet, maybe drawing circles. Maybe popping a little. You can even rock a little side to side if it feels good. A little extra hip opening. Deep breath in. And then releasing the arms, take them out wide. Reaching feet up towards the sky, and then let your legs open up nice and wide, wide-legged. Supporting underneath the thighs if you need to. Or if you want a little bit deeper of a stretch, you can take the hands to the inner thighs, just adding a little extra weight. And again, maybe you point and flex the feet. If it feels good, you could bend one knee and then the other. So you switch off, just little tiny bends. Just working into those muscles. And then release the hands if they're on the legs. Strong core, bring the feet together. Take your right knee over your left, like you're crossing your legs, and then bend both knees coming in towards your chest. Good, so the knees are a little closer together in this pose. They're sliding, yeah, exactly. And then reach your hands to your left shin. Nice, so you're kind of threading the hands around both shins, like you're hugging the knees in. Open your tailbone down towards the ground as you gently squeeze your knees in towards your chest. And opening up the hip in a little bit of a different place. This is kind of like a Gomukhasana, but on your back, your face of light pose. Breathing deeply here. Maybe a little rocking side to side if it feels good. And then releasing the arms. Release the legs up towards the sky and then wide apart, wide legs. Good. And draw them back to center. This time your left knee crossing over your right, like you're crossing your legs. Threading the arms around and gently squeezing knees into chest. A little rock side to side if you like. One more breath here. And then release your arms, legs up towards the sky, and then wide apart one more time. And you can take the hands to the inner thighs or to the outside of the legs if you like. Maybe flex and point the feet. And then open your arms out to a T if they're not already there. Strong core, squeeze the legs together up above. And then flex your feet. Lift through your ankles. Engage your core. So feel your belly button coming down towards your spine. And then strong arms on the ground. Start to take your toes up and over towards your right hand. Good. Just a little to the side. Nice. And come back to center. Strong core, toes over to the left hand. Good. And back up. Good. A few times, taking those toes up and over in the direction of your right hand. Back to center. To the left. Strong core, supporting the spine. Back to center. Let's take one more each side. Toes over to the right hand. And back in. Toes to the left. Back to center. Hug your knees into your chest. Rock a little side to side, and then take your hands behind your thighs and start to rock from head to tail. If it feels good, you can rock a few times. Otherwise, we're all going to meet sitting on our sits bones. Spine nice and long. Whenever you're ready. Let's take one more little ab exercise. So lengthen your spine. Lift your shins up so they're parallel to the ground. Use your hands to really lengthen your back. And then you can stay right here or maybe releasing one hand at a time or both hands. Keep lifting in and up, lengthening. Good. If you have tight hip flexors, this might be a place to hold on. Otherwise, just really try to use the core instead of the strength of the legs. And then cross at your ankles. Reach your hands forward and come all the way up to hands and knees. And let's take a few cat and cows. So inhale, lift your chin and tailbone, drop your belly down. Deep breath in. Exhale it out, round the spine, curving your back, chin to chest. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale to round. Inhale, lift. And exhale, round. And then just flowing with your breath. You can close your eyes and just move naturally, however feels good to roll through your body. Giving some movement to wherever your body needs it. Breath like that, just moving into your body. And as you exhale, come back to a neutral spine. Let's tuck our toes underneath our feet and lift your hips up and back into your downward facing dog. The hands are strong on the earth, lengthening your spine. Let's shift our weight from side to side. Pedal through your feet, left and right. And then keep that movement going. Start to walk your feet towards your hands. All the way up to the front of your mat. Soft knees as you fold over. Let your head be heavy. And keep a little bit of that pedaling motion going in the feet, in the knees, as you slowly start to roll up. So you're just shifting left and right, even as you roll all all the way up. Hands alongside hips. Lengthen through the crown of your head. Rooting down through your feet, rolling open through the chest. Let your inhale float your arms up. As you exhale, hinge from the hips, strong core, weight evenly distributed in the feet, coming into your forward fold. Nice. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to fold, soften the knees, put your hands on the ground. Walk back to a plank. Strong core. And then take your knees to the ground. Shifting your weight forward. Bend your elbows straight back, lowering all the way down to the ground. Rolling shoulders open. Squeeze your elbows back. Breathing in as you lengthen through the crown of your head. And then as you exhale, take your forehead to the ground. Slide your hands out even wider than your mat and then come up onto the fingertips like little tents with the palms. And then on your next inhale, start to lift up through the crown of your head. Press into those fingertips. Maybe you lift a little more. As you exhale, come on down. Readjust your hands if you need, so it can feel good to have them super wide apart. Inhale. Lift up and out of the crown of the head. So you're not just trying to go straight up. You really want to lift up and out. Exhale, take it down. Taking one more. Inhale, roll up. Exhale, lower down. Slide your hands in under your shoulders. Pressing into your hands, come up to hands and knees, to your downward facing dog. Okay, breathing here. You can always rest in a child's pose if you need it. Good. Really find length in the spine. If that means bending your knees, do so. Walk your feet towards your hands. Inhale, lengthening your spine, strong core. Exhale, soften. Inhale, flat back, come all the way up, reach your arms to the sky. Exhale, hands draw into heart center. Take that again. Inhale to reach. Exhale to fold, hinging from the hips rather than the back. Good. Inhale to lengthen your spine. Exhaling, bend the knees, plant palms on the earth. Walk back to your plank. Good. Either lower your knees to the ground or shift your weight forward, bend your elbows straight back, try to find 90 degrees with the elbows. Inhale up and out to the back bend of your choice. Good. Exhale, back downward dog. Nice, you guys. 3 breaths in child's pose or downward dog. Feeling your upper arm roll away from your ears. On your third exhale, walk your feet to your hands. Inhale, create space, lengthen the spine. Exhaling, you soften down. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms reach. Exhale, drawing hands to heart center. Good. Inhale, reach high. One more time, one more. Flow through. Exhale, hinge from your hips. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, bend your knees, plant your palms, pressing into the hands. Feel a lift in your belly, strong core, strong shoulders. From here, you can either walk to a plank or hop into a chaturanga. So really think about keeping the core strong. Nice. Moving through your vinyasa. Good. 3 breaths in that downward dog or child's pose. And on your next inhale, rise up onto the balls of your feet. So lift your heels, bend your knees deeply, and lengthen your spine even more so those hips are reaching up and back. This can just be a really nice stretch here on the spine. Take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, look forward in front of your hands, draw your core in, and maybe you hop your feet forward or walk them in. Good. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, you soften. Inhale, rise all the way up, reach high. Exhale, hands to heart. Good. Take your feet together. Take your weight back into your heels as you bend your knees. Reach your arms up alongside your ears. Tuck your tailbone, try to create more space in the spine. Good, chair pose, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale to lengthen your back. Exhale to bend, hands to the earth. Walk to your plank or hop back, chaturanga, strong core. Good, flowing through. So if you're taking that hop back into your chaturanga, the more you can think about almost creating a hollow body shape. So a super strong core so that your hips don't dip down towards the ground at all as you land. Inhale, lift your right foot any amount off the ground. Square hips. Good. Exhale, step your right foot through your hands. Take your left heel to the ground. Inhale, rise up, arms alongside ears, warrior one. Let's stay for another breath. Rotating your left hip forward, drawing your ribs in, and then as you reach through your fingertips, soften your shoulders. Good, so the shoulders soften while the fingertips lift. Try to create more space in the elbows. Good, exhale, hands to the ground. Step back to your plank. Either lift your hips to downward dog or take a vinyasa, your choice. Let your next inhale lift your left leg any amount. Exhale, left foot comes through the hands. Right heel comes down to the earth. Inhale, lift up. Squaring your hips so your right hip rolls forward, sinking through your left, lift through the crown of your head. Push down through the pinky toe edge of your back foot. Try to lengthen that back leg. Deep breath in. Exhale, hands spiral down to the ground. Stepping back, plank, downward dog, or vinyasa. Good, really roll those shoulders open. Nice. And take another breath in your downward dog. And then if you want to take that hop forward, roll up onto the balls of your feet, bend your knees, look in front of your hands. Strong core hops the feet forward. Nice. And inhale to lengthen your spine. Your exhale softens, soften your knees, sink your hips. Inhale to your chair pose. Good. Lengthen the spine. And then lengthen your legs, hands to heart center. Nice. Feeling a little warmer. Inhale, reach as you bend the knees, sink the hips. Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhalation, lengthen with your breath as you exhale, hands to the ground, stepping back to plank or hopping to chaturanga. Good landings, nice. Flowing through or going straight back to downward dog. Inhalation, lift your right leg. Square hips so those right toes are facing the earth. Nice. Exhale, right foot comes through the hands. Left heel to the ground. Squeeze your inner thighs towards one another, so setting up this pose. And then strong core, rise up. Good. As you exhale, take your hands to your heart. And then press through the heel of your right foot so you lengthen that leg. Squaring your hips, gently lift up where your hands touch your heart. Exhale, press that foot down, reach your hands forward. Good, strong core, lifting the belly off that leg. Sweep your arms back behind you. Interlace your fingers, roll your shoulders open, and maybe you bow the torso down to the inside of that right knee. Good. Softening forward. Deep breath in. Exhale, release the hands, and just take the hands down to frame that right foot. Roll to the ball of your left foot. Drop your left knee to the ground. Untuck those toes. And then tuck your tailbone, squeeze your inner thighs, and rise up. So super strong legs. You're not really sinking into the pose. Really find the length of the torso first. And then from here, maybe you gently start to send those hips forward. Good. You're going to find the edge with that hip stretch a little bit sooner than if you kind of allow yourself to soften into it more. You can use blocks if you need them on either side if you want them. Give me a wiggle. We've got some extras if you want them. Here you go. Just have them nearby in case you want them. Good. You can take your hands to the knee if you like. Good. Breathing deeply. For one more breath, let's lift the arms up overhead. And then let's take hands to elbows. Take the forearms back behind your head. Keep tucking the tailbone. Roll your shoulders open. Maybe you give a little gentle lift to the heart. And then release. Hands come all the way down. Shift your weight back into that left shin. Lift your right toes. Good, another place where you might want blocks under your hands. Good, roll your right hip down and back. Lift your right toes. And then just breathe here. We're going to stay for a few breaths. Hamstring opening. If you're feeling open and you'd like to start to slide a little bit deeper into your Hanumanasana, feel free into your splits. Otherwise, just staying here. Yeah, if you want to move into that Hanumanasana, just trying to keep yourself as much to center as possible with your torso. So you can kind of inch your left knee back as you slide your heel forward. You just try to move yourself towards center. Nice. Good. And just being careful, not moving too deep, still early in class. slow breaths. Yeah, you can draw your heel in if you want. You guys are like, yes, I'm ready. Nice. And if your heel's not all the way in, draw it in. Shift your weight back into that right foot. Plant your palms, tuck your back toes, lift that knee. Strong core, just slide your right foot back to a plank. Either lifting hips up and back to a downward dog. You could take a cat and cow as your vinyasa, or flowing through that chaturanga. Back bend to downward dog. On your next inhale, lift your left leg. Left toes, left knee face the earth. Step your left foot through your hands. Right heel comes down to the ground. Squeezing the inner thighs towards one another, strong core. Set yourself up here. Inhale to rise. Warrior one. Exhale, hands come down to the heart. Start to press through your left heel, left toes lift. Square your hips. Gently lift your heart. Exhale, that foot comes down, knee bends, reach your hands forward. Strong core so that it's lifting off of that left thigh. Sweep your arms back behind you, interlace your fingers, roll your shoulders open. Pressing knuckles back behind you, you can bow your torso down to the inside of that left leg. Good. Keep the left hip tucking in underneath you, so don't allow it to sit out too far to the side. Keep it nice and strong through the pinky toe edge of that left foot. Exhale, the hands release and come down to frame your left foot. Rolling to the ball of your right, drop the knee, untuck your toes. Good, power up the legs. So squeezing inner thighs, strong core, rise up. Good, finding that tailbone scooping underneath you so the hip points are lifted. Lengthen through the crown of the head, through the core, and then gently start to slide those hips forward. Maybe not going quite as far as you might be used to, really finding that engagement first, and then taking hands to knee. And breathing here. And then you can keep the hand on the knee, or maybe reaching arms up overhead. Keep those legs strong. Maybe taking hands to elbows, forearms behind the head. You can feel as if you're pulling those elbows apart as you gently lift the heart. It rhymes. And then release hands, take them down to the ground. And shift your weight back to your right shin, lift your left toes, lengthen your left leg. Roll your left hip back and down and then lengthen your spine. Good. Nice. Yeah, the ways our bodies try to get out of this stretch are to allow that hip to shift forward and to round your back. So instead, we really want to stretch out, create more space so that the stretch is coming into that hamstring. Breathing here. And after a few breaths, if you want to start to move a little deeper towards that Hanumanasana, feel free. Breathing deeply. Trying to square your hips as much as you can. And then when you're ready, use your core to draw that heel in if you're in that full pose or coming towards it. Shift your weight back into your left foot. Plant your palms, tuck your back toe, lift that back knee. Strong core, the left foot just slides back. And then either move to your downward dog or through a flow of your choosing. Good. Nice. From your downward dog, take your knees to the earth. Good. Then we're going to come down onto our forearms. Good. Pressing through all 10 fingers, spread your fingers apart, tuck your toes underneath, and then lift your hips up. Good. Power up your arms so that you're not sinking into your shoulders. You're really lifting up and out. And then maybe you start to walk your toes in towards your elbows as much as you like. Good. Try to keep the arms powered up. Good. Strong core. You can let your head relax. Create enough space between your elbows and your shoulders that there's space for your head. Nice. Little dolphin pose. Good. And from here, let's just walk our toes all the way back into a little forearm plank. You can take your knees down to the ground if you need to. Good. Feel your belly button lifting towards your spine, nice and strong. And then let's walk the toes back in. Good. Nice. And then look towards your hands, bend your knees, press into your palms, and you're just going to shoot your weight forward until you're in a plank. Nice. Easier than it seems, huh? Lift your hips up and back, downward dog. Good. Take a rest if you need it. Little child's pose. Let's all come down into a child's pose. Either knees wide apart, arms forward, head relaxed, or maybe knees a little closer together, arms sweep back alongside your feet. Reconnecting with your breathing, deep, slow breaths, reconnecting with your intention. And just taking one more deep breath here. On your exhale, let's press back to our downward dog. Inhale to lift your right leg, square hips, strong core. Exhale, right foot comes through the hands, left heel to the ground. Squeezing inner thighs, squaring the hips even before you rise. Strong core lifts you up. Good, hands to heart. Press through that right heel, lengthen the leg, lift the heart. Exhale, reach forward. Hands spiral back, interlace your fingers. Press the palms back, open those shoulders up, and then you dip your chest towards the ground. Good. This time we're going to release the hands, and then just take your right hand down alongside your right foot. Keep your left fingertips reaching up towards the sky. If this is too deep, you can come up elbow to knee. Rotate your torso open. You could also take a block underneath that hand if you like. Again, your Parsvakonasana, side angle pose. Rotating open like a spiral is coming from your low belly all the way up into your chest. Good. And then power up your legs, reach through your left fingertips, come up to your warrior two. Nice. Lengthening the upper body as you sink through your right hip. Take your back hand to your back leg, flip your front palm, reach up and back. Keep space in the left side body. Good. If you're allowing your chin to lift, maybe try tucking it in so you're creating length through the spine all the way up through your neck. And then exhale, we're coming back into that side angle pose, so elbow to knee or all the way down. See what feels good in your hips. Wherever you can keep that rolling open sensation in the upper body. Good. And if here, maybe you want to tuck your left hand back behind you. If you want to start working towards a bind, feel free. Up to you. Just see how it feels. Good. Breathing deeply. Keep power in the legs. Engagement through all four corners of both feet. Good. Keep that right hip tucking underneath you. Nice. Release the bind if you've got it. Arms wide apart. And then exhale. Take your left palm to the ground. Roll up to the ball of your back foot. Roll all the way to the pinky toe edge of your left foot, and then slide your right foot halfway back. Good. You can either keep that right foot on the ground and just reach your right fingertips high for a modified side plank, or maybe you slide that foot back. You can stack the right foot on top of the left. Strong core. Keep lifting up out of that left shoulder. Right hand comes down. Lift your hips up and back or flow through a vinyasa. Give yourself a rest if you need it. Very nice. Child's pose if you need it. Good. On your inhale, left leg lifts. Square hips, lifted heel. Exhale, step through. Right heel to the ground. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, hands to heart. Pressing through that heel, lift the toes, lift the heart. Exhale, extending, reach forward, offer out. Arms sweep back behind, interlace fingers, press palms together, roll your shoulders open. Allowing the torso to sink towards the ground. Keep your left hip tucking in. Breath here. Release the hands. Take your left hand to the ground. Reach your right fingertips high. Start to roll those hips open. You can always bring the left elbow to the left knee if you need it there. Good. Rotating the torso open. Feel a spiral from your low belly all the way into your chest. Beautiful. Strong legs, reach back through your right fingertips. Come to your warrior two. Okay. Open hips, sink into the low body as you lift up through your upper body. And soften your shoulders. Good. Try to create more space in your spine. So maybe taking the hips and bringing them underneath you a little bit more. Take your back hand to your back leg, flip your front palm, reach up and back. Lengthen the right side body. Lengthen the spine all the way up through the neck. Exhale, come back to your side angle pose. If you want to start working towards that bind, turning your right palm away, tucking the arm behind your back. Keep rolling that shoulder open. Maybe bringing left arm underneath the left thigh. Up to you, coming in as deep as you like, or maybe staying in that original pose, whatever feels good. Keep drawing that left hip in and underneath you as you roll the shoulder open. Good adjustment. Release the bind. If you're holding it, reach that right hand up. And then exhale, right hand to the ground. Roll to the ball of your right foot, all the way to the pinky toe edge. Slide your left foot halfway back or all the way back. Engage your core, left fingertips lift up. Nice. Your side plank. Power up through that bottom shoulder. Try to lift out of it as much as you can. Left fingertips come down to the ground. Flow through a vinyasa or come to your downward dog, your child's pose. Very nice. Okay, come on down to your knees. We're just going to take a second to play around with a little something I was messing around with before we started class. So we've all done crow before, right, up on our hands. We're going to try baby crow. So take your forearms to the ground. Just come all the way down. So forearms are shoulders width apart. Hands are spread wide. Good. And then tuck your toes and try to get your knees up as high on your arms as you can. So same little crow shape, just way smaller. Good. And then rounding the back, engaging the core, start to shift your weight forward. See if you can lift those toes up off the ground. Nice. Just play around with it. Yeah, your face might be super close to the ground. Nice, you guys. Looks awesome. You can come down whenever you're ready. Good. Try getting the knees a little bit more in if you can. As if they're out wide, then it's like just total smush down onto the ground. Nice. So it takes a lot of presence in that upper arm to keep it from collapsing down to your forearm. Sweet little baby crows. Good. Come on down. All right, this seems like a good time to play around with our Pinchamayurasana. Our arms are nice and warm. So take your strap. We're just going to play around with it a little bit because it can really help to figure out how much presence you need in your upper body if you have the strap to press against. So you're going to take this strap and make a loop. So you'll go, let's see, through the center and then over the grooved edge, whoops, and then back through. And then just make sure if you pull on one side, it's not too easy to take it out. Yeah. Good. So you want the strap to go just above your elbows, and when you have the strap on, you want it to keep your arms straight out from your shoulders. So this is a little wide, so I'll keep adjusting it. Nice, so hands straight out. Yeah, looks good. Yeah, maybe a little lower, so just above the elbows. Here, let's see. Here, I'll just give you mine. See if your arms are the same width as mine, maybe a little bit more space. Great. Okay, so with that strap around your upper arm, you're going to take your forearms down to the ground. We're going to come back into that dolphin pose that we were playing with. So first, give your hands some attention. Really spread those fingers apart. Got a little something on your hands. Okay, and then use the strap to press your arms apart. So you want that much energy in your shoulders. So you can kind of feel the difference between just hanging out here and really pressing into the strap and opening up through the chest. So keep that presence in the arms as you tuck your toes and lift your hips up. Good. Nice. And you can try to walk your toes in a little closer to your nose. Good. Keep powering up those arms. Nice. So this is going to be just our first little stage here. You might stay here, or you can try lifting one leg straight up towards the sky. You can come down in between. Yeah, absolutely. Give yourself a little rest if you need it. Good. So just lifting that leg up first. And really try to square your hips and lift the leg up as high as you can. Engage your core. Nice. And then trade off legs if you haven't already. Come down, give yourself a rest in between if you need it. Good. So your next round is going to involve those little tiny hops. So let me make sure I've got my strap at the right space here. Okay, so this round you're going to be set up exactly the same. You walk your toes in, lift one foot up, and really try to get that foot as high as you can, because the more weight you've got going in that direction towards your fingertips, the less weight is going to be in that back toe. And so you square your hips, engage your core, kick up, just little tiny hops, trade off legs, little tiny hops. Good. So just play around, see how it feels. If you get a lot of air, maybe you want to hover for a moment. Good. Really try to square the hips. So it seems kind of counterintuitive because by letting that leg open up more, it seems like it's going to get further. But you want to keep your hips square because that's where that low belly power comes from. Nice, you guys. Using the strap to press against. Good. Give yourself a rest in between. So you can actually look at your hands here. Yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit more of a back bend. So like in a handstand, it can help to look at your hands or to drop your head to lengthen the line. In this, you can keep your gaze forward. Nice. Keep the chest open. Yeah. Good. If you guys have questions, feel free to shout them out. Nice. We'll play around for just another moment. Good. So do you want a little assist? What I'll do is I'll put a hand underneath your leg, and you just push your leg into my hands, and then lift the other leg up, just so you can feel what it feels like to get into the shape. So you're going to give me this leg. Good. And then you're just going to push into my hand. Nice. Good, strong core, ribs together. Nice. Whenever you're ready to come down, you just push back into that hand. There you go. Or just come down, yeah. You want to try that? Okay, so you're going to give me this, other leg. Nice, so just push into my hands. Yeah, push down, exactly. Good, hips a little further over your head if you can with your core. Strong shoulders, press up out. There you go, very nice. Whenever you're ready to come down, just push back into my hands. And lower the other leg down. Very lovely. You want to try that, Anna? Okay. So this is also a really good way to work on your handstands. So just push into my hands. Nice. Try to square your hips a little bit more, strong core. Yeah. So good. You're a natural. That was actually really, really good alignment for that pose. Woo! Pincha Mayurasana, which is also called the peacock pose, which makes sense. It kind of feels like peacock, you know, big, exciting opening. Okay, so we can get rid of our straps for now. How'd that feel for everybody? It's a fun one. It's a hard one. It's a very strange sensation because it kind of feels like weak in the shoulders almost because they're here instead of like a lot of things we do, we're used to lining up over our hands. So it's a fun one to play around with. Good thing to strengthen. You don't have to roll up your straps. We can do it later. I'm just moving my hands here. You could just toss them to the side. All right, let's take a little shoulder opener after all that work there. So we're going to come up onto our knees, tuck your toes underneath your feet, and then just take your hands back behind you, interlace your fingers, squeeze your elbows back, roll your shoulders open, and just lift your heart. And if you want to come deeper, maybe you lengthen those knuckles towards the ground. You could even release your hands and take your hands back to your heels, lifting up and out of your chest to stretch your shoulders, hips gliding gently forward. Keep creating length from your tailbone to the crown of your head. Breathing deeply. And take your hands to your low back. Engage your core. Come on up. Good. Let's take our hands to the ground. Lift your hips up and back, downward dog. If you'd like to take a vinyasa, feel free. Make your way back to your downward dog as you're ready. Good. Inhale, lift your right leg up, square hips. And then exhale, step your right foot through your hands. Keep your left heel lifted. Engaging your core, rise up, arms alongside your ears. And then we're going to take our arms wide. Leaning your weight forward, take your weight into your right foot. And you can either take your left foot in little hops forward or just lift off. Start to hinge from your hips. Try to create a straight line from your back foot to the front of your head. You can either keep your arms wide for balance. You might take them behind your back, interlace your fingers, press your knuckles back. You could reach your arms forward if you like, any arm variation that you want. Really power up that back foot, flex the back foot, energy out through your heel, warrior 3. One more deep breath. Release your hands if they're interlaced, take them down to the ground. Good. Squaring your hips, gently lift that left heel. You want to play around with a balance here. You can really square your hips. So think about turning those left toes and knee towards the ground. And then lift in your low belly and start to walk your hands in towards your right foot. Maybe you take your forearms behind that right calf. Good. It's a lot of work for that leg. Nice. Okay, release your hands down to the ground. And then bend your right knee, tuck your left knee in behind, right behind that right knee. And then take your left shin down to the ground. Sit your hips back into the left. Good, you're in a little twist here, yeah. Nice, little pretzel legs. Right knee is lifted, left knee's on the ground. Cool. Right fingertips come behind your back. Sit up nice and tall. Lift your left fingertips high. Start to gently twist to the right. You can take your left arm around that right knee. Good. If both sits bones aren't on the ground, you can try lengthening that left leg instead, or if it's too deep of a twist. And just breathing here. Exhale, come back to center. We're going to slide our knees towards one another. Good. So we talked about the one on our back being Gomukhasana on our backs. Now we're going to do it sitting up. So the knees are towards one another. Your heels can be back towards your hips or opening out a little bit more for a deeper stretch. And then lift your left arm up and bend. Take your right arm back behind you. Maybe you work those fingertips towards one another. You can use a strap in your left hand and hold on to this strap if you like. Good. Sit up nice and tall. Good. And then if it feels good, you can hinge a little bit from the hips. A little deeper stretch. You can keep the arms here if it feels good, or if you really just want to focus on the hip stretch, feel free to release them. You can use them as a little bit of extra support here. Maybe moving a little left and right for some back opening, back release. And then rise on up. We're going to take one more hip opener here. So take your hands back behind you and then just sliding that right foot until it comes over your left knee. And then shins are parallel to one another. Good. Nice. So you want the shins to line right up. Good. And you might even already start to get a stretch in your hip right now, just sitting up nice and tall. I'm feeling it today. So maybe you just stay right here. Or if you want to come a little bit deeper, you can just gently hinge from your hips. Maybe walk the hands forward. Good. Sometimes called fire log pose. I think because this looks like, you're making a little fire stack, but it's also kind of appropriate because you really get some burn in that hip. It's a really good hip opener. It's like pigeon, but a little bit deeper. Breathing deeply. Let's take one more deep breath. Exhale it out fully and then start to roll up. Good, let's take our hands back behind and then just release your legs. Bending the knees. Roll forward, hands and knees to your downward dog. Take a vinyasa if you like, or stay here. Good. Power up those shoulders in your downward dog. Good. Make sure you're not sinking into them. All right, let's inhale to lift our left leg. Square hips, engaged core. Exhale, you step your left foot through. Stay up on the ball of your right foot and rise up. Good. Take your arms wide. Tilting the torso forward. Keep the core strong. As you shift your weight into your left foot, keep reaching out that right heel. Good. Squaring your right toes, your right knee towards the ground. Super strong core. Maybe the hands sweep behind, interlace the fingers, press back through the knuckles. Good. As you're ready, release those hands down towards the ground. Good. If you want to take that standing split, square your hips, lift your right heel. If you've had enough, just take both feet to the ground, take a forward fold. If you want to play around with the balance here, really square your hip, turn those right toes to the ground, lift through your low belly, start to walk your hands in towards your left foot. You can loop your forearms behind that left calf. Good. Very nice. Okay, if you're using the hands on the ankle, release them, hands on the ground. Bend your left knee, take your right knee right behind the left. Right shin comes down to the ground, hips come over to the right side. The left knee is lifted, right knee's on the ground. It's okay, it's confusing. Sit up nice and tall. Take your left fingertips behind you, right arm lifts. Nice, and then that right arm comes across the body to the left knee. Keep lengthening your spine. Sit up as tall as you can. As you gently twist, looking over that left shoulder. Nice deep breaths. And exhale, release. Come to center. Work your knees towards one another. Good. And again, heels in or a little further apart. This time the right arm reaches high, left arm behind. Bending elbows and working fingertips towards one another, even if they don't reach. Good. Sitting up nice and tall. And maybe softly hinging from the hips. Good. And again, if you really want to focus on the hips instead, maybe releasing arms and just allowing yourself to come forward. Deeply into that outer hip opening. And then let's come back up. And you're going to slide your shins over one another. So trying to stack the left shin over the right. Good. A little flexion in both feet, some energy there. Good, and sitting up nice and tall. Again, this might be as far as you need to go today. Maybe you gently hinge forward. Good. If it's a little too much on that hip flexor, you can do it on your back too. It's good. Okay. Just be careful. Don't take it too far. Letting your body slowly soften into the stretch with deep, long breaths, relaxing your body in. Taking one more deep breath here. Exhale it out. And allow your inhale to roll you up. And take your hands back behind you and just release your legs. Take your soles of your feet to the ground and then just walk yourself down to your elbows and all the way onto your back. Walk your heels in a little closer to your hips. Good. And then stepping into your feet, tuck your tailbone and start to slowly roll your hips up off the floor. So you're coming into your bridge pose. Good. Your shins can just be straight up and down. So heels, yeah, exactly. If you like, walk your hands underneath you, interlace your fingers, and then as you press through your knuckles, you can walk your shoulders underneath your chest to lift your sternum a little bit more. Good, breathing here, softening your front body. And then releasing the hands. Walk your shoulders out and slowly roll down onto your back. Little choice here to get upside down however you'd like. So if you want to come into your wheel pose, your Urdhva Dhanurasana, you can take that. Maybe a supported bridge. You should all have a block nearby. Or if you want to take a shoulder stand, you can take that. Good. Whatever you like here. Good. If you're working that back bend, squeeze your elbows towards one another. Really working them. You want to come down real quick for me? Good. So yeah, so as you're coming in, right, really try and keep them right here.
On my hands, like, should they be closer on my shoulder maybe?
Yeah, that would be good. But if they don't reach, it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Because you can always adjust once you're up. Yeah, nice. And then really just try to open up through the chest. Beautiful. Good. That looks good in your low back. Good. Couple breaths in whatever pose you've chosen. Come down whenever you're ready. If you took a shoulder stand, you might take Matsyendrasana, your fish pose. A little support on your elbows, a little gentle rest on the top of your head. Good. All any other little movement that you are feeling like would be beneficial for you at this point in the class. A little moment here to take something that just sounds good. Nice. And when you come out of that Matsyendrasana, you just push into the elbows, touch into chest, and rest on the back of the skull to come on down. And then let's all, when you're ready, hug your knees into your chest. Take your arms wide apart and let your knees drift to the right as you bring your gaze to the left. Gentle supine twist. You can take your hand across your knees for a little added weight if you like. Maybe straightening your left leg if it feels good. And feeling your shoulders and hips sinking down towards the ground. Relaxing. Maybe letting your eyes close here. Deep breath in. And slowly changing to the other side. Knees to your left, gaze to the right. Hips and shoulders heavy. A little gentle twist in the spine. Letting your breath soften as you relax down. Deep breath in. Exhale, strengthen the core, roll back to your back. Good. Slowly, one at a time, lengthen your legs out onto the earth. Good. Taking any final movements before your savasana. If you'd like to cover your eyes with a strap or a blanket, or cover up in any other way. And then take a deep inhale through your nose. As you exhale, sigh it out through your mouth. Let's take that again. Deep inhale. One more time. Let it all go. Releasing your body, relaxing down. Feeling deep relaxation in your toes, your ankles, feeling your knees relax and release. Softening the thighs. Relaxing your hips. Feeling your abdomen relax. Softening your ribs. Your chest. Relaxing your shoulders. Let your exhale release all the muscles of your back. Softening your neck. Relaxing your jaw. Feeling your mouth, your tongue soften. Releasing the temples. Feel your eyes sinking heavy. Relaxing the crown of the head. The scalp. Feeling waves of relaxation flowing through your body. As you release into the earth, into the air. Letting your breathing start to deepen. And finding gentle movement in your fingers and your toes. Reach your arms up overhead and stretch as if you're just waking up. And then bend your elbows and take your hands down to your shoulders and just give your shoulders a couple little gentle squeezes. Working your hands up to your neck. Use your whole palm to just squeeze the neck. Maybe using your thumbs to draw circles on those muscles up the sides of your neck. And sliding the hands up so that those thumbs are drawing circles behind your ears. using all 10 fingers to draw circles on your scalp. And then taking your thumbs and just gently drawing some circles on your eyebrows. Working your way out to your temples, little gentle circles at the temples. And right down to where your jaw connects, little circles at the jaw. Anything else that you're craving. And then release the hands down. When you're ready, bend your knees. Slowly roll to one side. Use your hands to press yourself to seated. Hands come to heart center. We'll close our practice with the sound of one Om. Deeply inhale. Namaste.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It says tridosha, fennel, coriander, ginkgo leaf, licorice root, mint, and safflower. Yeah, it's quite the color there. Is it? I actually have no idea. I have to ask them. Oh, that is so good. I love licorice. I think the licorice root, I'm like,